Solving equations level 3. So let's see what the next level is going to bring us. All right, again, a reminder, when solving an equation, I am finding the value of x that makes the equation true. All right, so here's a level 3 equation. I'm going to put my variables in boxes. Okay, and like in level 2, we have 2 different boxes here, but now we have a little bit of a problem. I have 2x and 6x. Those are like terms. Okay, but I can't just put them together because they are on opposite sides of the equal sign. Okay, so if I put 2x and 6x together and made it 8x, where would I put it? Would it go on the left side? Would it go on the right side? Why? I can't just put them together. So even though they're like terms, I can't combine them because they're on opposite side of the equal sign. So what do? Well, we're going to use that inverse operations, or doing the opposite like we've been doing with the other levels, to put them on the same side. So right now I have a 2x over here and I have a 6x over there, and I want to get them on the same side. Now, you have 2 choices. You can move the 6x over to this side, or you can move the 2x over to the right side. It really doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. Either way, you'll get the same answer. I like to put the variable on the left side just because that's the way we usually write things, so that's what I'm going to do. So if I have 6x and I want to move it to the other side, remember that when we've been moving things, we've been doing the opposite. So the opposite of a positive 6x is a negative 6x. So I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides. And when I do that, now 2x minus 6x is negative 4x plus 4, still over there. And on this side, all I'm left with is this negative 20, because these are now going to cancel each other out. Okay, so now this looks like a level 1 equation. I only have one variable, and so I'm going to solve for it. So I do the opposite of what's outside the box. I subtract 4 from both sides. So I have negative 4x equals negative 20 minus 4 is negative 24. Okay, and then I need to divide by what's inside my box. So divide by negative 4. And I am left with x equals 6. Okay. And we should, of course, be checking our answers every time. So I want you to pause here, plug that 6 into the original equation, and make sure that that is the correct answer. Okay, in example B, now we have x's on both sides, but we also have parentheses. So if you remember from the level 2, we're going to get rid of those parentheses first by using the distributive property. And now we have to do it on both sides, but it's still the same thing. So 3 times x would give me 3x. 3 times 4 would give me 12. Over here, 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 7 is 14. Okay, if I box my variables, I see that I have 2 of them, and they're on opposite sides, so I need to move one of them over. Again, I just like it to be on the left just because, so that's the way I'm going to do it. If you want to go the opposite way, be my guest. You'll get the same answer. So I'm going to do the opposite and subtract 2x from both sides. Over here, 3 minus 2 is 1, and 1x is the same as just x, so I'm just going to write it as just x. So I have x plus 12. Over here, 2x minus 2x is 0, so those cancel out, and I'm left with positive 14. All right, the opposite of what's outside the box, so minus 12 from both sides, and I am left with x equals 2, and there's no need to divide because there's no coefficient because it's just a 1, so x equals 2. Again, I want you to pause, plug that in, make sure it works. One extra thing that we need to talk about with level 3 equations is there are sometimes some special solutions. So what if the variables cancel each other out? What happens if when I go to subtract and move it to the other side, it cancels out on both sides and all of my variables are gone? Okay, when that happens, there are 2 situations. So the first situation is we could end up with a true equation. I could have the same number on both sides, like 4 equals 4, 12 equals 12. The number really doesn't matter. But if it's the same on both sides, then we call that infinite solutions. Okay, so what that means is it doesn't matter what number I plug in for x. I could plug in 1, 2, 3, -74, 500 million, 2 million, whatever, any number I want. I'm always going to get a true equation. So every number that ever exists in the whole world is a possible solution to that equation. Right? The other thing that could happen is I could get something that's false. I could get different numbers. I could get 3 equals 4. I could get 7 equals 12. Numbers that don't match, that aren't equal. And when that happens, we say that there is no solution. It does not matter what number I pick. It's never going to work. It's never going to make both sides equal. Okay, so you have 2 examples there. I want you to work through those examples. So pause here, work through those examples, and then come back and let's check and see if you did them right. Okay, so here's what we should have come up with. This first example is no solution. Okay, I ended up with 5 equals -12. That's not true. So there's no solution to this one. Over here, I had -10 equals -10. Same thing on both sides. That's infinite solutions. All right, make sure you check through that work and that yours looks the same. If you have a question about something, make a note about it so that you can ask. And then we're all done with level 3.